Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy, my channel's Finding Value. We're going to do our daily technical analysis update that everyone likes to watch. So, again, this is just my financial opinion. Please don't take it as advice. I'll let you know what I'm doing. I will state that at the end of the video, and I'll let you know what I'm seeing. So here we go. This is the Uranium technical analysis update. So I'm going to start with the uranium price. The uranium price, and again, I haven't drawn anything in here. This is an educational channel. We have resistance through this guy in here, and we broke right through that. So I'll draw it in here to show you guys what I'm seeing. And you can see it right. If I can draw this, it keeps snapping me. You can see it right there. And we've broken through this resistance line. And what that means is that we've had sellers in here. And uranium, again, it just cut right through it. It didn't even pause. It went up. I know this is over a different time frame. I think it went up like 4 or 5% in a day. And usually what happens is you start to see movement slow down as you encounter sellers. But the uranium price has been incredibly strong. We've seen huge inflows of money into the sprott fund, which is driving the sprott price higher. And if that continues to happen and the money flows keep getting drawn into this sector, you're going to see higher and higher prices. Because I don't know how much physical uranium there really is out there. Now, looking at URNM, this is the ETF, the North Shore Global Uranium Mining ETF. And what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the candlestick patterns. We've basically broken out of everything already, and now we're judging everything off of candlestick patterns. When you look at this run-up, I kind of want to make this comment and make it pretty easy to see here. We have a bullish piercing pattern that started this. Well, this was the bullish engulfing. So we had a bullish engulfing pattern, which means that this candlestick, the opening and closing price, engulfs the entire day before it. It's a reversal pattern. It reversed, another bullish engulfing pattern here. See how this opening and closing price engulfs the entire candlestick before it. And then the slow leak off of sellers. And it comes usually to the bottom here, maybe a little higher, maybe a little lower. This was a little bit lower. The day to buy would have been right this day here, at the end of this day, right there. Then look at the candlesticks. Big move higher. It opened and closed strong. Big body stick, candlestick body length here, which means it's going to continue to the next day, continue to the next day. This one was a black candlestick, which had a small pullback. Then we continued with the people piling into it. Strong close, strong close, strong close, strong close, strong close. Popped a little higher with a little wick. It means we're encountering some sellers. We are coming up above this. We had a black candlestick, which means it popped higher in the morning and opened and closed a little bit lower. Had a couple of sell-off days. And then the buyers stepped in and drove it higher. This finished pretty strong. Here we've got a little wick at the top, which means there's some sellers up here. There are some sellers. Now here's the difficult portion. We do have a gap here, and I'm not too worried about the gaps. I know a lot of people say 80% of the gaps get filled, and that may be true, maybe not. I don't know the exact percentage. But I'm looking at this here. We may have a pullback. We might not. And what I wait for is I wait for a clear, distinct turn. We are in an uptrend. I am personally doing nothing. I'm holding on, and I'm waiting to see. And even if we have a couple day pullback, if it looks like this, these small little down days like this, it means that people aren't selling it. There's not this huge wave of sellers coming in, pushing it lower. And that's what I'm looking for if we have down days. If the buyers keep piling in here, and look at the volume, guys, the volume's picking up. So I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to wait and see what happens here. If we see down days, we want to see two small down days like this, or a couple of small ones, and then a move higher again. But at some point, we may, go into a more longer pullback. Maybe, maybe not. So when I zoom in on this, and I were to look at the last 5 trading days to see if there's an uptrend broken, this is what it would look like with this last candlestick looking like that. So it gapped up in the morning. This is September 13th today. It gapped up and then lost momentum throughout the day. And it broke from September 10th, that uptrend line. That's what I'm seeing. These candlesticks and the way that I can read it correlates to these trading days continuously. And we could see the uptrend line break right here. So we could pull back a little bit. Maybe. Because we didn't pull too far below it. We might see buyers push this thing right back up. So that's one to watch. CCJ, we've got this black candlestick. It opened high, traded up throughout the day, and then closed lower. The momentum is coming to the downside with this black candlestick. We've got a lot of volume coming in here and a lot of momentum coming up, and it reversed, I think. So we could see this, if we look at the 5-day, we could see it come back, but we are still in an uptrend line. So the uptrend with this black candlestick still isn't broken yet by looking at this 5-day chart pattern. So we might be all right. Maybe. We'll see. We're starting to see more momentum slow, though, in a lot of the candlesticks in multiple companies. So we've had this incredible move upward, and you can see we've had strong finishes every single day coming on up. We had a wick at the top here where the momentum slowed. That was the day I said the momentum's slowing. And you can see the momentum stop here. It's paused. We're coming up. It doesn't want to move up as easily. We've got some sellers up here. And you can see it. The wick at the top means that we traded. The opening price came up, closed down. Sellers brought it back down. There are some sellers here. Fission, same thing. Nice big momentum, bullish engulfing, bullish piercing here. Boom, 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 boom. And we've got some momentum loss. You can see that it opened here, came up, and closed down. The momentum's coming down on this. But we'll see if it can continue. With volumes coming in like this, I'm not at all saying that we're going to have a pullback. I want to see what happens tomorrow. But we're seeing these black candlesticks, which usually means there's sellers up here, and we're coming up into more of a stronger resistance. We're not punching through foam here. We're hitting some wood. We're hitting some good solid wood here that we gotta punch through it. And Energy Fuels has got that same overhead resistance. That's why we've got this wick at the top, a wick at the top, small. The opening and closing price is the same pattern here. So we had some good momentum coming up, and we're starting to hit our head or punching over our heads on a wood resistance level of sellers. Now, URG, it tried punching through, but the magnet of sellers brought it back to this high back here. That's why a wick's on the top. Usually, what that means is it tried to run. A bunch of buyers came in. They tried to push this thing higher, but the sellers got them. They sold it back off with the momentum coming back down like that. That's what a wick at the top is. So it gave a good effort, but it didn't succeed at closing strong. So that's what that wick is, and the momentum is down here. And let's see what tomorrow brings us. Usually this means that we might have a small down day or two, and these sellers have to exit the stock before we move higher. UEC, same thing. The black candlestick, we're encountering sellers up here. UROY, this one looked really good because it finished strong, Friday. It popped higher. We got a little bit of sellers up here, but it wasn't too bad. So it's not a huge wick. Look at the volume, guys. My Lord. This is like the volume of all these days added up over here. So it punched through its 52-week high or all-time high here, punched through it. We got a little bit of sellers. Let's see what tomorrow brings us. Encore Energy's got some sellers up here. I don't know who's selling this stuff, guys. I'd love to know who's selling it. We've got incredibly good valuation still in uranium, but we do have some sellers here. That's what the black candlestick is. It opened up and closed down. It was an up day, but the momentum was coming down throughout the day. We still have an uptrend that isn't broken yet. So that's good. Now, deep yellow, what happened here is there's a huge resistance area that came all through 60 to 75 cents all the way back to like 2011. And a couple of times between 2011 and now, we've hit this resistance line on a long-term chart. We hit our head on it here. We hit our head, encountered sellers. Hit our head, encountered sellers. This was a thick wood ceiling above us of sellers. We've hit it multiple times. We put cracks in it in here. We ran really hard, cracked it again, and then we broke through that wood barrier today. That's why it went up so much. Looking at Bannerman, again, we broke through the resistance through here, and it's starting to break away. This here is a rocket ship. It's got a little fire out the butt of it here. Nice big volume. Looks good. Big up day today. Forces Metals, again, it's hitting its head on it. You could see it hit its head first here. This is a bearish engulfing pattern. It was the beginning of a pullback. We were trying to break through it. We tried breaking through it, wick at the top. Tried breaking through it, encountered sellers, wick at the top. We're trying to break through it again, wick at the top. We got to let these sellers get out of here before moving higher. And this one, you could see a huge move when it breaks through that wood ceiling. We're putting cracks in it right now. We're trying to break through all that selling pressure up there. Global Atomic is doing the same thing. It encountered sellers this day with a wick, black candlestick, some down days, a wick at the top, and a black candlestick. We're encountering resistance to the move higher, even though we've got loads of volume coming at it. Goviac, same thing, a little bit of a wick at the top, coming into some sellers, but this is a pretty good launch from this bullish engulfing pattern. Popped higher with a little, wick at the top, so it opened here, came up and closed like that. Sky Harbor's get a little bit of sellers, but looks pretty good. Good up day today. Nice, good volume. Look at the RSI on this thing. Go RSI. UEX finished very strong here. That's a very strong looking chart. Some good volume. Looking pretty good. Ken Alaska, a little wick at the top, encountering some sellers. Another wicks at the top here. There's a lot of sellers of standard uranium at 34 cents, 32 cents, 36 cents, all through there. Base loads encountering some sellers up here. Pure Point, same thing, a little bit of sellers, not too bad though. Asian Court finished pretty strong, some good volume. Good 22% up day. Good move here. This looks like a beautiful chart pattern here. Fission 3.0, this thing's taken off. A little bit of wick at the top. This thing's pretty volatile. Good volume. LEU, good strong finish here. This one looks actually really good. That might continue higher. This one looks ultra strong. It opened low, finished strong, huge volume. Someone's buying them some Kazatomprom, that's for sure. That looks really good. International, this one's got a lot of resistance up here. People, I guess, are willing to sell it up here. But it's up there trying to break through its wood ceiling of sellers, putting some cracks in it. Laramide broke through its area. It's been bouncing off this area multiple times, and we're starting to see it gap a little bit. Not as much resistance as hanging this thing down. Little bit of wick at the top, little bit of sellers up there. Boss Energy is encountering some sellers. That's what the black candlestick is, and the wick at the top. Either way, it is launched higher. And Peninsula Energy looks like it's broken out of its resistance area. It gapped it. So it gapped higher, finished pretty strong, little wick at the top, but that looks pretty good. And then Blue Sky Uranium's got a wick at the top. Wicks at the top mean that there's sellers. It's encountering selling pressure. with volumes like this coming in, I mean, we could see it get pushed higher. So that's the entire sector that I could think of off the top of my head, guys. I try to get as many of these as I can in front of you. You could see that we're encountering some selling pressure. So the volumes are coming in. The uranium physical price is rocketing higher. It's drawing more and more attention into the sector. It's increasing the money flows into it. That is good. We are encountering sellers, though, with the black candlesticks and the wicks at the top. That's what it's doing. It's coming in, buyers are coming in, and then people are selling off. They're coming in, it's selling off. So there's some overhead resistance above us. Someone's selling it. Is it selling it hard? Does it mean anything? It depends what the volumes do. If the volumes, if the volume of buyers stop coming in, we could see a pullback. If the volume of buyers continues and remains elevated, it's anyone's guess then. We'll see if the buyers overwhelm the sellers. If we see continued volumes like we've seen, because we've been seeing the volumes ramp higher and higher and higher, it's going to keep going higher if the volumes keep coming in with buyers. And keep in mind, though, guys, when these things go pretty rapid like this, it usually results in high volatility. So what I like to look for, small down days if we get them. It means that people are holding their shares and they're not selling too much. I don't want to see everybody pile in and then dump it. I want to see people be confident in their holdings and hold on, because we'll see it continue to go up if we have no one selling. I'm not selling my shares, guys. I haven't really bought anything. I bought some, a couple weeks ago, but I'm holding on. I'm not selling here. The values are too good. The uranium to gold value is incredibly cheap. It's like buying at the bottom of other uranium markets. We're still that low. It'd be like buying at the bottom of the last bull market. That's how cheap we still are. So I'm not doing anything. I'm holding on to my shares. And if we get huge volatility, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to hold on to it. And if we do see a pullback, however big, if it's a big one, I'll buy more. If it's a small one, I'm just going to hold on. That's my strategy. Would I buy here? If I didn't hold anything, I would probably look at a cost averaging strategy. I would cost average in a little bit of money, look for a pullback. If we get a pullback, great. We can buy it at cheaper shares. If we don't get a pullback, at least you bought some. So that's my strategy. I've always done cost averaging in. And in all honesty, I don't really buy that much in these types of conditions. I usually just hold. But that's me. I try buying at the bottoms, and I really I go into it when people aren't looking. So if you like that strategy where people aren't looking at things, subscribe to the channel. I go over a lot of different things here, and check out some of my other videos in other sectors, because other sectors are looking very good and they've pulled back a lot. So you buy things when people aren't looking at it, and I guarantee you there's going to be other sectors that may not have this type of volume, but it might have this type of volume very, very soon. Big moves are going to come into the commodity complex in its entirety. Uranium is going to be one of the biggest movers. I also think oil is going to be massive. Oil, uranium, natural gas, and some of the metals. So if you guys like that analysis, check out my other videos as well. And thanks for listening. This is Finding Value.